All right, so once again, our home play for tonight is play sheet 9.1, AB, side AB, or it's labeled also page 134 at the bottom of the play sheet. Okay? Now, for those of you watching on video, if you are absent, I'm including a Nearpod code, AHIQL. Just go to Nearpod, type that in, and then the lesson will be in there slide by slide, but forward the slide all the way till you get to the PDF viewer. So like that you can get the play sheet from there. All right? So our objective for today, can add and subtract rational expressions. And like I said, today we're going to do an extra day of practice just to make sure we got addition and subtraction before we move in and have funner stuff. Yeah. So, we're going to start with example 5 mega Q. And by now you should have all the steps written down. Hands if you got the steps already. Okay, we got it, yes? All right. So let's start with this one. We're going to go ahead and break this one down, and we're going to follow the process to see how this works. Ready? First step says factor the denominators. All right. So we're going to factor this one, and we're going to factor this one. I'm going to do this one in blue, this one in red. So this one is -6 is our product, -1 is our sum. And for the purpose of today to move a little bit faster with these processes and get more practice in, we're going to do the shortcut for the factors. Instead of doing grouping, we're going to go straight to the factors. So here we go. Let me zoom in. What factors of -6 add up to -1? -3 and +2. Now, here's a shortcut. Look up. This only works if this x squared does not have a coefficient. Does this have a coefficient? No. So this shortcut does work. So I'm going to write x minus 3 and x plus 2. Once again, this shortcut only works when the first term does not have a coefficient. If it has a coefficient, this shortcut will not work. All right? Let's factor the second one. We got 15 and -8. Take over the factors of 15 that add up to -8. Very well. -3 and -5. And does this have a coefficient? No, it's just an invisible one. So therefore the shortcut would be x minus 3 and x minus 5. Are we there so far? So now, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to rewrite the two fractions, but instead of writing this trinomial, I'm going to write just the factor so you can see what they look like now. So this fraction looks like this. 3x over x minus 3 and x plus 2. Do you agree? Yes. Minus, then we got 5 over x minus 3 and x minus 5. That's what they look like now. Okay, write that down. All right. So now, before I continue, and I elaborated yesterday on this, but let me make it a little bit more clear. Look up, please. Write your utensils down. If I had the fraction 3/5 plus 2/3, and I asked you, we need a common denominator. Can we make the 5 into a 3? No. How about the 3 into a 5? No. And our teachers in elementary told us you can't do +2 to make it into a 5. It has to be a factor. So we can't multiply 3 times anything to make it into a 5. So what was the last resource? Multiply that times that. So what is our common denominator? 15 and 15. So what did I multiply this to get 15? Times 3 times 3, that gives me 9. What do I multiply this to get 15? 5 times 5, that gives me 10. Now that we have that, we can write it as one fraction, and I focus on the numerator. What is 9 plus 10? 19, and at that point it would be what? Simplify, the process to simplify. I'm not going to simplify, but you get the idea, yes? That's exactly what we're doing here. So question, let me zoom in now. Do we have a common denominator now? Can you see it a little bit more clear? No, but it's close. So question, what does this one need from over here that it doesn't have? X plus 2, is that correct? So I need to multiply this side times x plus 2. And what do I do to the denominator? I do to the numerator. All right, so now this one has 3 factors. This one's missing one. Which one is this one missing? X minus 5. I'm going to write here x minus 5. So I multiply the denominator and I multiply the numerator, x minus 5. So with that said, do we have a common denominator now? Yes. What would be our common denominator? X minus 3, x plus 2, and x minus 5. Do you agree with that? That both of them have that. All right. So now, just like I did with the other fraction, I'm going to focus just on the numerator. But in order to combine and do stuff here, we need to multiply these out to see what each term do we have. So let's see. What is 3x times x? 3x squared. What is 3x times negative 5? Negative 15x. So this became that. All right. Next. Look at this one. This is where the reason I'm revisiting this because yesterday I went a little bit fast. I get it. And I kind of like, I mentioned it, but I didn't emphasize on it. Whenever we have a subtraction, this, when we distribute over here, we need to distribute it together with this number. So then what is this? Negative 5 times what? X. That gives me what? Negative 5x. What is negative 5 times 2? Negative 10. So be careful with these. Whenever it's a subtraction, it has to distribute to both terms. Now that we have this, now we can combine like terms. So let's see. Do we have another x squared? No, 3x squared. Okay. Do we have another x? Yes, right here. So what is negative 15 and negative 5? That's negative 20x. And lastly, what's our constant? Negative 10. All right, so what we just did up to right there, what did we do? We added or subtracted. In this case, we subtracted. There it is. What's our last step for everything? Simplify. How do we simplify? Well, we need to factor the bottom. We need to factor the top. Let's see. Is there a GCF for the top? No. Can we factor this? Let's try it. How can we factor it? You got negative 10 and negative 20. So tell your neighbor oh, my bad. It's not negative 10. It's negative 30. Tell your neighbor why negative 30. Because it has a coefficient and we need to multiply the coefficient times the last one to write our number on top. All right? To your neighbor, let them know the factors of 30 and see if any of those pairs adds, those subtract to give us negative 20. Let's see. Caleb, are there any pairs of factors that negative 30 add up to negative 20? No. So if there isn't, guess what? We are done. Nice. All right. Now, according to the instructions, look at the instructions on your play sheet for that problem. It reads, add or subtract, but then it says, identify any x values for which the expression is undefined. Now, what does that mean? Identify any x values for which the expression is undefined. What that means is this. Look up to the screen. What that means is that identify any x values so that the denominator, that the denominator is 0. That's what undefined means. Or in other words, what do we need to look for? Excluded values. Tell your neighbor what to do from this point to find the excluded values. Set all this equal to 0. X minus 3, x plus 2, x minus 5, and all that equal to 0. All right, so let's set each one equal to 0. X minus 3 equal to 0. X plus 2 equal to 0. And x minus 5 equal to 0. So if you add and subtract and so on and so forth, our x, this one is 3, this one is negative 2, and this one is positive 5. So my excluded values are 3, negative 2, and 5. Zoom out. Look at that. You merge, yeah? How come you are with these? Did that clarify a little bit more? Yes? Because I noticed some of you ran this stop sign right here, the negative. So be careful from this point forward. Whenever there's distribution here, distribute the negative together with that factor. Okay? All right. Let's move on. Go to this one. What number is that on site C? That is number 10. All right. Here we go. Once again, according to the steps, it says factor the denominators. Look at the first denominator. Let me zoom in. X minus 5. Question. Could that be factored some more? Tell your neighbor, please. Larissa? No. So we leave that one alone. How about this one, everyone? Yes. You got 10, negative 7. All right. Factors of 10 that equal to negative 7. Stay off those phones and smart watches. My goodness. No, go. Negative 5, negative 2. So my factors are x minus 5, x minus 2. Hands have you heard right there so far? Okay. So I'm going to show you the process. I'm going to show the step. I'm going to rewrite this again so it doesn't look all disconnected. So I'm going to bring this one down. 3 over x minus 5 minus 1 over x minus 5, x minus 2. So by looking at it, you can see obviously this one needs something else. Tell your neighbor what this one needs. That is correct. This one needs to be multiplied times x minus 2. And what do we do to the denominator? We do to the numerator. Do we have a common denominator now? Yes, Mr. Q. X minus 5 and x minus 2. However, now we're going to focus where? In the numerator. All right. So what is 3 times x? 3x. What is 3 times negative 2? Negative 6. And what is this one? To combine this with this, what do we have over here? Negative 1. That is correct. Don't forget about that one. You need to distribute. So what is 3x? We got 3x minus what? 7. That is correct. So we're done subtracting, but can we simplify? Let's find out. Is there a GCF here? No. Are there any giant ones? No. So we are done. However, we need to find what? Excluded value. Turn to your neighbor, let them know what to do from there, please. Yeah, we're going to set the common denominator equal to 0. Not this one or this one, but this one. It's already factored for you. Okay? All right, find me the excluded value, please. All right. So x minus 5 and x minus 2, all that equal to 0. X minus 5 equal to 0. X minus 2 equal to 0. Plus 5 plus 5. X equals 5. Plus 2 plus 2. X equals 2. So therefore my excluded values are 5 and 2. Show me your fingers out if you are with that. Okay, you got it, yeah? Okay. Do another one. All right, turn your play sheet over, and we're going to do number 12 from the back side. Example number 12, and it reads x plus 6 over x squared minus 7x minus 18 minus 2x over x minus 9. Very similar to the one we just did. See how you do with that? Copy that and go. So here's the work. And once again, here this negative attached to this and you distribute to both, so therefore this is a negative 2x squared and negative 4x. Since there are no any other x squared, so we bring this one down, there it is. Negative 4x plus x, that's negative 3x, and then plus 6. We cannot factor anymore, so that's simplified. Show me your famous outcomes you are with these. Yeah, okay. All right, let's continue. Let's do another one. Example 5Q, and that one is number 7 on your play sheet C. Does everybody see? All right, let's see. Step 1 says factor the denominators. So, Chelsea, can we factor this one anymore? No. How about this one? Yeah. What is the factor? 2 for the GCF, and we're left with x plus 3. That is correct. So I'm going to rewrite them again. You're like, again, Mr. Q? Yes, just to be organized. 5x minus 1 over x minus 3 plus 3x over 2 parentheses x plus 3. Oh, this is plus 3. All right, tell your neighbor what would be the next step. Next step. Talk to your neighbor. Chelsea, pass to someone? Monte, what do I do next? Multiply the other fraction times 2, so 2 here and 2 there. So now do we have a common denominator? Yes, our common denominator is 2 times x plus 3. And now I'm going to focus on the numerator. So distribute, this is 10x minus 2. Combine that with this. We end up with 13x minus 2. What was it? Pass to someone? Noah. Can we factor this one anymore? No? So basically we are done with addition. What do we do next, Noah? Excluded values. Pass someone? Maria, what do I do from there? That is correct. And now that we have these equal to 0, so it's 2 equal to 0 and x plus 3 equal to 0. Is 2 equal to 0? No, we got rid of the BFF. 5 minus 3 minus 3. X equals negative 3. So my extended value is negative 3. Yes? All right. Nice. Send me a picture of your work, please. All right, once again, our home play for tonight is play sheet 9.1, the side A, B, or it's also labeled page 134, okay? And for those of you watching on video, once again, I included the Nearpod code in case you don't, if you were absent, you can get the play sheet there. Just print it or just copy it from there, okay? Enjoy your home play. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.